you go. Hello and welcome to the BRL Breakout Racing League here for the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. As you can see on your screen now, unfortunately, we will not be able to do a pre-race interview with the other championship protagonist of Gary and the Mercedes. But instead, we're going to go to third place in the driver standings of BRL Ardell. Ardell, you were eliminated from the Drivers' Championship. I believe it was at Brazil. But considering that you're out for championship contention, you literally have nothing else to lose. What is your mindset going in this race?
Honestly, my mindset is literally just don't get disqualified because this track is absolutely terrible. I hate this place with an actual vengeance. So yeah, that's my goal.
Well, if we look at the constructors here, you lost quite the lot of points to Mercedes, Alfa Romeo, and Ferrari. Something to speak about as well, but I'll speak on this later. Alfa Romeo passed Ferrari in constructors, but that isn't the topic now. Considering that you're falling behind instructors, and you could be eliminated this race, are you just going to put it metal to the pedal here and try to get as much points as you can for constructors, or is it every man for himself?
Okay, so first you mess up that saying, it's pedal to the metal, but
Don't worry about it.
I mean, if Mitchie says that he has a pace that he does have, then yeah, I'll try to help us get some points back in constructors. If not, then I don't know. Anything that happens, happens.
Oh. Since we asked you this in your podium interview last week, but since it is literally 2 minutes away from loading in the lobby, how is your pace around here? What are your expectations for the car right now?
The car, very slidey through turns 2 and 3. Final corner is a hassle and pace. I'll drop a little, just a little time. I can hit 34s. I don't know if that's even good at this track. That's how little I practice this track. So yeah.
Well, I think that will conclude our pre-race interview with you, Ardell. Good luck, and we'll see how everyone pans out in the race. You are free to leave the party whenever.
All right.
Once again, good luck in your race and
Thank you.
qualifying. Yep. But like how we did last week, we have a clip of an Abu Dhabi hot lap, and we will send you to there now on the track with Chandler Sato 1 with the world record time on time trial, and now we will send you down to the circuit of Abu Dhabi for a hot lap. Well, we are back. You all saw the stream starting soon screen due to the fact that we haven't loaded in yet, but we are now loaded in, and as you can tell, it is actually overcast in qualifying. That's what we saw in realistic tier last night. That's going to be something to look out for. But we're literally in the desert in the Middle East. It shouldn't rain that much, so with even the possibility of there being rain right now is wonders. But if you look at everyone's tires choice right now, 2 drivers on the mediums, everybody else on the softs. As once again, I am joined by Bailey, but instead of Cam for our third commentator, it will be Mumu. But Bailey will not be here for for at least 2 minutes. That's what he told me. But so, Mumu, how are you feeling about this Tier 3 race?
Well, it's pretty good attendance, so it should make it a lot better than having like a 10-person grid. But this track's always interesting with how tricky is to hook up a lap with the triple chicane and the tricky third sector.
Yes, it is indeed. A 16 driver attendance. We're only missing 4 drivers right now. But both championship drivers are in the grid. We're supposed to interview Gary tonight, but unfortunately, he was not able to make it for pre-race. But if you look at everybody starting to get in their laps in, the first person to start a lap will be the Red Bull driver, BRL Ardell. But like we said earlier in Ardell's interview, I'm going to go over the Tier 3 point standings. Once my phone will load. Alright, there we go. The British driver of Gary in the Mercedes has 311 points to his name. The first and only driver so far this season to break that 300-point threshold. Second place is Ron, the American in the Ferrari, only 22 points behind. This could, if Gary outscores Ron by 3 points, or even 4, excuse me, Ron is out of championship contention. So he needs to outscore Gary by more than 4 points for it to go to Imola. And then we have Ardell, the Canadian, in the Red Bull. He is actually locked in third for driver standings. Congratulations to him after Tier 3 point standings were updated. But we look at the constructors here. Mercedes have grown their gap to 17 points over, no longer Ferrari, Alfa Romeo. After Jeddah, Alfa Romeo has been able to pass Ferrari in constructors standings. That'll be something also interesting to look out. Alfa Romeo behind 17, and with Ferrari behind 24, 7 behind Alfa Romeo, and then you have Red Bull 79 behind, which makes them eliminated. I am pretty sure. Actually, never mind. They're not eliminated, but they could be eliminated in this race from Constructors' Championship. And then you have Aston Martin, McLaren, AlphaTauri, Alpine, Haas, and Williams rounding out the Tier 3 Constructors' Championship.
And we have Arnaud on a lap. I don't know if he'll be the first one across the line. I don't think so. There's a lot of people on laps now. Everyone's on the track, I think, except for 2 people.
Ardell has invalidated.
Yeah.
So it will be, I believe, Kieran Evans. Kieran going through Sector 3 now. I wasn't able to see a Sector 1 and 2 split. Saw something realistic. Right here, he does have a little bit of traffic. Gets on the curb to snap of oversteer, able to correct it though. But something we saw in realistic traffic in qualifying was an issue. Will we see something like that in Tier 3 tonight?
It wouldn't surprise me. It's not a very wide track in the sections that are the most technical, so not much overtaking. In Sector 3, there's usually a big traffic jam, especially at the end of qualifying. Everyone trying to go to the very last second.
Yes, as Kieran, the first jump across the line was a 37.065, but that will put him P4 for the time being. And Mitchie on pole on the mediums, actually, with Titan P2 with the 36.8 on the softs, Goofy 36.9, and that is range out of the session. That will be something to talk about later on in this qualifying and race session. That is in the uphill section. That is actually Kieran in the Haas round as well.
Yeah, it's very easy to spin there, because the curbs can spit you out if you hit them at the wrong angles. So yeah, you have to be very careful through there in the race and in quality.
Yes, you are, but that will be something to speak out as well. Something I've noticed to avoid that issue, just rev it out in 6th gear, but I wonder if any drivers will figure out that trick in qualifying and later on in the session, as that is rage once again out of the session. Carries around! I was able to catch that on board. I believe that is wing damage from the Mercedes driver. So already the uphill left section. Is it left? Hold on, I gotta go back to gear here. Yes, it is. No, it is actually right. My bad. But that is already that downhill ride section catching out these drivers tremendously here. Who would have thought? But hi Bailey, how are you feeling for this Tier 3 race that you came in out of nowhere? Yes, as well. Something to look out for is that in the Discord server, BRL fan of the Discord admin and races in Tier 4 posted an announcement speaking about the pit lane rule. Once you're pit, you cannot cross that white line. If you do and get caught, you will be reported, and it'll probably be a 5-second time penalty if I had to guess. I don't even know. No one's been caught out in F2 nor realistic. So will Tier 3 be the first tier of catching someone out with that rule? That's something to look out for, as Ron goes P2 in the Ferrari on the mediums. It's like I said, Ron needs to outscore Gary in this race to carry it on to Ebola. Well, Kieran Evans on the softs is on an out lap. The other Alpine driver, it is the penultimate round, by the way, for Tier 3. This season has went by so quickly. I do not want the season to end. It's been full of big moments. Ooh. I can't even see Goofy. No, there you go. Yes, it is for the Aston Martin driver. Something to look out for is that is Potato, I believe. Outlap, yes it was. I thought he had a moment, but never mind on that. Yes, it has been. Oh, I'm sorry, my bad.
Yeah, I was gonna say, that's a kind of odd place to spin. I understand spinning in the Triple Chicane on the exit there. Exit curve's not very rough there, but maybe he hit the inside curve. I'm not too sure, but
And you never know, these curves are deadly here. Speaking about the curves being deadly, Abu Dhabi, it's been a tremendous change with the curbs going from 2020 to 2021, at least for the game. In 2020, the curbs did nothing. You could just ride all over them, and they would do nothing to you. But in this game, it is a complete opposite. I would recommend to not even try and hit one unless you're in qualifying, because it could upset your tire and give you more tire wear and even heat up your tires too much, and you see how much spins. That is actually, speaking about a spin, that is an Alpine. I believe that is Kieran Evans. Yes, it is. I think he did a little loop there and saved it. But Mitchie in the Red Bull, the other Red Bull, like Ardell said in the press interview, who knows where Red Bull is going to sit at in constructors after this race, knowing that they are at risk of being eliminated. And that is a Ferrari of Whiffy letting them through. Actually, no, that was that was Whiffy. That is Titan around in the downhill right, once again catching out a driver here.
Yep, that is 3 drivers, I think, that have spun there with one crashing. Yeah, but this turn 3 has been pretty tough so far for these tier 3 guys.
yeah, best thing to do is just avoiding that inside curve, because you can mount it and gain that little bit of time, but there's always that risk of spinning around, so it's always best to just avoid those curves, but not going too wide or you're just gonna lose like a 10th by going wide.
Well, if you look at the current tire everybody is on the softs here. As Gary is on a lap, the championship protagonist in the Mercedes, this championship could be over tonight. Like I said, it's 30 times already. And as long as, if I'm Gary here, my mindset is to beat Ron. And if my mindset for Ron, it's just to beat Gary and close back in that gap. But what if it goes all wrong for Gary and all right for Ron? If Gary crashes out and Ron wins the race, even without fastest lap, he will be back ahead in the driver's standings by 3. But with fastest lap, he'll be ahead by 4. But Gary's on a lap now, going across the Sector 2 time. What will a Sector 2 be? Correlation of other drivers, that will be 5.5 tenths up. That will be a 36. Hold on, let me do my math here. 36.3. That will put him ahead of Ron, but behind Bad Bunny. Bad Bunny's putting down a lightning fast lap. Speaking about that, Potato goes P2 and Ardell goes P3.
Yeah, I think Potato and Ardell were a bit of a duo in their quality laps, so maybe a bit of slipstream for Ardell. But yeah, here comes Gary to the final corner to complete his soft lap. Let's see where this will put him. And it goes up to P2 with a 36.0.
Yeah, he did play Silencer, who was P2, who just went up, and it's crucial that also Silencer is here, because I don't think he was here in like Brazil, so that'll help for the constructors having 2 drivers. And his teammate Ichigo has not set a lap yet, so I don't know what he's doing.
Well, we look at Ron, the other championship protagonist. He is actually down on his lap going through Sector 1, but going to Sector 2, he is up by 2.5 tenths. That'll be a 36.3. That will be around the Potato and Silencer range. I'm not sure where exactly it'd place him, because it'd go down to the 1,000. But that is I saw that extreme Kieran Evans hard into the wall and the downhill right once again, catching out both Alpines. That was such a huge hit, and that is Whiffy pole with a 35.4. I mean a 35.7. Oopsie there on my part. But if people are struggling this much in qualifying, how bad will the downhill right be as Ron goes P4 right behind Gary?
Yep, turn 3 is still a pretty deadly corner. That's 3 people out in quali. Yeah,
Stig, you good?
this is gonna be pretty huge in the race. Stig does not have a front wing.
Everyone losing their front wings, but in the race, I don't know if it's like, but you have to lift. or else you have like way too high of a risk of spinning. But I don't know. I didn't see much problems and realistic in the race. It was just doing a small lift at both parts and you're fine. But in quali, I think it's more of a risk because you have to take it flat or you lose too much time.
I just rev it out in 6th gear. So
I think with your setup, Mumu, we can take it flat, or at least Sanchez and I can, but
Well, you know, I've only driven in the AlphaTauri, so I don't know.
true, that's true.
hey, Momo, since you're good at figuring out setups here, if we do a hot lap here with Dixie Ishigo, could you tell us what setup he will be on a straight line or corner preferred setup?
I mean, I guess, yeah. I know the straight line speed of what the Mercedes was doing with one less throwing than AlphaTauri, so yeah, I guess.
Dixie Ishigo going through the downhill right, he's actually revving it out in 6th gear like how I would. So that is keeping him good for the time being. Purple sector 1 for the Alfa Romeo driver. He's going to be a driver to look out for the run for pole, for being known for his insane lap 1 pace. As I believe.
Yeah, I think Ichigo's just on the time trial setup because he's doing the same speed that Mercedes are doing. So yeah, I think he's just a time trial setup.
Here you go,
He's backed
Mumu,
out.
with the big brains.
Oh, and he backs off. But the tire wear in quali's not too high, so and especially since he only did like one sector, so you can back off and go again.
Well, 3 minutes left in qualifying now. If everyone's going to start getting their last laps in, you better get on track now. We have 3 retirements in qualifying. I'm not sure when Solo retired.
He retired a while ago. I think he might have. I can't remember who it was. It might have been Rage or something. They crashed around the same time. I'm not sure where, but yeah.
Probably exit of turn 3.
Yeah, probably.
Oh, wow. I thought Goofy was gonna go around there at turn 3. He took a pretty good amount of curb.
But he did it the right way, so you don't spin.
Yep.
Yeah, and Ichigo's going again. Like I said, he can go again. He backed off very early on.
My mic
Goofy's on
was
lower
muted.
wings as well. He was 2 miles an hour quicker than Ichigo, so slightly lower.
Well, here we go with the lap time starting to ramp up. The first driver to cross the line will be the Aston Martin driver, Goofy. Going through sector 2 now, he is a whole second up. That will be a 35.9. That will put him P2 actually, as he will be a driver to look out for as well, going through the early parts of sector 3. I've noticed the tricky part about this corner. The racing line in this game, it's actually wrong, so you're going to have to use, I believe it's a yellow square. I'm not sure what it is. I know it's something yellow. That could be a good reference point when to brake, but Goofy going through turn 20, I believe, keeping it clean, not touching any of the curb, going through turn 21 now, coming across the line, he will set a 35.8. That will put him P2 in the Aston Martin. Lap times are starting to ramp up. Gary, half a tenth up on his lap time.
Yep, it's obviously, we're getting to the end of qualifying. The grip is starting to raise and the lap times are starting to get faster. Let's see what Gary can do now.
Just half a second up in sector 2 split. So yeah,
Yes.
he could be on for very low 35 here, but
That
there's
is
a lot
huge
of traffic.
traffic.
Okay, he gets through cleanly. But there's a Ferrari, I'm not sure who it is, it's Ron or Whitby obviously, but will they get out of the way or will they just go a little bit faster to keep the gap so not get dirtier? But it is a little bit off-putting and distracting knowing that there's someone right in front of you on your hot lap.
Quite of a messy sector 3 for Gary. Let's see what time he can do. Going through the final corner and headed to the line. Gary will set a... Oh, he will go pole with a 35.5.
That is Mitchie retired in the session in the hairpin. That is an odd place to crash, but that is our 4th driver retired in the session. as Whiffy is actually getting slipstream from DXD Ishigo in the Alfa Romeo. That is going to play huge for his lap time, especially through a Sector 2 split. Let's see what Ron can do. I wasn't able to get his Sector 1 split for time being. That's the yellow flag. I think that is just a...
Ardell goes P5 with 36.0.
Ron is 2/10 up on his lap time. That'll put him at a 35.8. That will put him around a Goofy and Bad Bunny once again. He does not need to mess out Sector 2 and Sector 3 here. This is costly for the championship, because as it stands, Ron will be eliminated for the championship, but we have 28 laps to even do. He will be around the 35.7 range. I'll put him around his teammate Whiffy. But speaking about Whiffy, he's about to cross the line. I believe he's lifting. I'm actually sure he's backed out of his lap. Yes, he has.
Who's next?
It is going to be an... It's the House of Kieran. Let's see what he can do.
Oh,
he's invalidated. So next turn will be Ron to cross the line. Let's see what he can do in the Ferrari. He needs his pole position. He needs to be near Gary. Coming across the line, tank slapper. That will put him P2. That could have been the lap of dreams, but that snap of oversteer there, last corner, pushing a little bit too much, and the curbs could have assisted oversteer, but that will be Gary pole position. Unless Dixie has something to say about it, as he actually crosses the line now, so that is qualifying over.
Wow, Titan jumped up into P4. I just missed it. Pain. But yeah, Titan up into P4. That's pretty good for him.
Yes, it is. It's something to... Oh.
Yeah, all the drivers actually very close together. Just Gary, who was a little bit clear of the rest of the field. But yeah, I think it was like second to fourth was within like a tenth of each other. Good to see close times.
Wow, pretty close for quali.
Kieran in the prime reverse pole position in P11.
The top 10
at...
is... Oh. Damn.
Yeah, bro. I got interrupted twice, but... If you look at Gary's and Ron's fastest laps, Gary actually gained 2/10 on Ron through Sector 1, so... Actually, Ron gained, even with that snap of oversteer in Sector 2 and Sector 3. I wonder what... if Ron would have been on pole position, or it wouldn't have mattered. But now we have 28 laps of racing here for the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. There's a championship on the line. Who's going to get it? Well, now we go into race director. Let's see what tires everyone will select. Everybody on the softs, except for Mitchie, Dixie, Shigo, and Solar for the time being. Something I've noticed, especially if you look back on realistic, the medium tires were the preferred tire after lap 4, essentially. As Kieran Evans, P11, and Alpine now on the mediums as well.
Yeah, right now it's 4 people on mediums, so they're going to be on alt strat. I'm going to assume they're going to do medium soft. We're going to have to watch out and see how that plays out.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know why Mitchie and Steak and Rage are not switching, because, yeah, the softs are not very good race tire. The wear on them is very low, actually, but they just drop off really quick.
Well, there you go. Now, the formation lap has the end date started now. So everyone will take this lap to warm up their tires. But look out. Mitchie and the Red Bull actually switched from medium back to soft. So that will be 4 drivers on the mediums, which will be Kieran, Rage, Ishigo, and Solar on the alternate strategy. So that is going to be interesting. for this Grand Prix. Kieran Evans has actually left this session. I'm gonna get him back in here. That way. Oh, he's back in. Never mind. We're good. Well, guys, what are you all's putting predictions for this race, considering how wild realistic tier was, to say the least? And speaking of how wild that race is, do you guys think we're going to have that type of race for Tier 3, or do you think it's going to be a common collective one?
I think Tier 3 will be a bit more calmer. Hopefully it's not, as chaotic as yesterday's race. But yeah, for the podium, I think Gary will top it. He'll probably dominate this race, actually. I'll keep Ron in P2, because he's going to be pushing himself to keep up with Gary. And then I'll have Titan in P3.
My prediction is Gary will crash, and Ichigo's gonna pull a masterclass for P15. Because I agree with Hoop. Hoop said Ichigo's gonna win. I agree, and I reckon Ron's gonna finish P2 or P3. And the last podium sitter I think is gonna be. I'm gonna go with Silencer for constructors.
Alright. As Gary's actually lined up on the grid now, we're just waiting on the McLaren Solar to line up now on the mediums. As he's about to line up now. Whoop! There we go. Now everybody loading in. As it is 5 red lights with Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. Will it be Ron taking home the crown? Will it be Gary? And it's lights out, and away we go as Ron does not get a good start whatsoever. Will Whiffy let him through? Yes, it does. But Gary with a fantastic start going into turn 1. No contact, but Will the downhill right affected drivers on lap 1. Kieran Evans left the session once again. But I do not see any offs as everyone's made it clean through sector 1. Huge dive bomb from Bad Bunny on Silencer. But they're keeping it clean as Silencer is able to hold up the position. Huge commotion in the back as Kieran in the Haas is out, actually trying to make a move. But Mitchie, P11 on the softs. Same as Potato in the Williams. Everybody in the softs back here except for Ishigo. Speaking of Ishigo, he's P12 already. He needs to gain a lot of these positions very quickly here if he wants any shot at this win.
Yep, relatively calm start. Bit of moves in the further back, but Gary retains or keeps his lead with Ron staying in P2. Yeah, pretty good.
Yeah, I think Ichigo's gonna be. He's a very. I've noticed from this tier 3, he's a very smart driver with managing his ERS and managing moves.
Oh! I saw a little bit of contact there, but they were able to keep it clean. That allowed DXD to get ahead of Potato, though. I believe that is a stack up ahead of Ishigo with Kieran, Goofy, and Mitchie. But swap for P4 between a Titan and Ardell. But Gary coming across the finish lap 1. How long will it take until these softs start dying off here and making the curbs even more deadlier than they are right now?
Yep, a bit of battling between Ardell and Titan into the triple chicane, the triple chicane. Yes, because that's right. Anyway, there was a lot of contact between the two, with Titan being shoved off a few times. He might have gotten an legal overtake because he had to let Ardell back pass.
It's all very close, except what I've seen so far is that it looks like so far Gary has the best pace, being able to hold at 7/10s, and it seems like Gary and Ron themselves are in a class of their own, being able to keep everyone else at a 1 second, or Whiffy, which...
Oh my god, Titan has spun.
Oh yeah, I was about to pick that up. That is Titan has spun off on the exit of airpin. Maybe a little bit of contact, maybe even a little bit of loss of traction. But here comes Bad Bunny. We saw that realistic. That is Kieran out of the Grand Prix. Apparently this straight is deadly as well. That is
VSC.
Wow game.
Wow.
It won't show me what
it's a VSC,
literally
it's a
this
VSC.
is. Okay. It is a
And
VSC.
it should go already in P7 as well.
I think he's our biggest mover so far, but that is the third straight incident. You know, a crash on a straight. Yeah, that's the third time this has already happened, and it's only tier 3.
Yeah, first tier of the equal tier action this week. So that has been interesting as well with the amount of straight crashes. Is there maybe even a little bit of a bump? Could it be the contact system? You never know.
Looked like a bit of a classic NASCAR move. As we're back green.
Yes, we are. As Gary is almost able to pull Ron out of his DRS. Speaking of DRS, the drag reduction system has been enabled. You will gain an extra 20 kilometers an hour, but you need to be within that 1 second range. Another yellow flag, that is rage off. But Ron is almost out of Gary's DRS.
And he is.
That is absolutely crucial for this race and even this championship, because as it stands, Gary will gain, I believe, 7 unless he has to slap. But nonetheless, with how it stands, Ron is out of the championship. His Rage is in the lane for a front wing change. Ron needs to get in this DRS here if he wants any chance of catching Gary.
Yeah, so far in our 3 laps, turn 3 has not been a death zone so far. Right now, it's only been the straight, surprisingly. But yeah, I think as we go on, some crashes will start to develop in turn 3.
You never know, as here comes Ardell in the Red Bull on the Ferrari of Woofy. He's going to make a dive down in the corner. That is contact. He actually did the same thing in realistic tier. That is him around. But that is the Red Bull. That is them as it stands out of the Constructors' Championship, which is something they do not need.
Yep, Ardell's teammate Michi has kept his P5 on Ichigo. Ichigo was going for a move, but in that meantime, Silencer and Ardell, I think it was, got into a bit of contact.
Something to point out for Constructors is Mercedes only have 1 driver. So the double podium for Ferrari would really help them with the Constructors with that scoring.
Well, actually 18 out of 15. That would not be that much points, as that is actually 1 more point. Oh, Mitchie's around! He is in the wall, somehow not DNF'd. But once again, crucial for the Constructors' Championship. I wonder if Stig's going to make a move on Goofy here. He's awfully close, but that only helps out DXD so much more. Ron is flirting within the DRS range now. He needs to hurry and get in the DRS.
Yeah, I think that's our first turn 3 victim, which is Michi, sadly. But yeah, here comes Stig. Oh, that's Bad Bunny up into P5. Past Ichigo.
Yeah, the softs are still quicker than the mediums for a couple more laps, so yeah, Ichigo just needs to sit behind, man his DRS. And there's another yellow flag, I think, for Rage again. Yeah.
Yep.
That is a VSC. I wonder if Rage has no front wing, as he does not.
Yeah, for
so
Denver.
that
That's
will
2
be a
VSCs.
VSC. Yes, it has.
And maybe another turn 3 victim. Probably 2 right now.
This VC will help with ERS regen, because Gary has been using more than Ron, which I kind of expect to just keep Ron out of DRS.
That last VSC of Ron basically sent him out of DRS, so I wonder if that will make him lose even more time with this VSC, or it will go back in the Ron's favor. You gotta mind the delta though, because if you are in the red when the safety car ends, or the VSC ends, is Goofy, like you said, like how Mumu said, is in. But anyway, if you're in the red by the time VSC ends, you have a drive-through you have to serve. As Ardell and Mitchie are in the lane. I'm not surprised about Mitchie. As Potato gets a drive-through penalty, as Gary gained even more on Ron.
Yeah, he does have less ERS, so down the straight, if Ron wants, he could definitely close up more, having the 10% advantage. But I don't know who's running lower wings, I haven't paid attention, but I'm assuming Gary, because I've seen him running away on straights a lot. Actually, they're like literally the same, never mind.
Yeah, but a lot of commotion for P5 here at the moment. DXT needs its mediums to start kicking in now if he wants. Oh! I saw that. Mistake getting a 3-second time penalty, missing his breaking point, hitting DXT. I wonder if that's wing damage, but if that is wing damage, it's even more damage considering he got a 3-second out of that one.
Yeah.
So very unfortunate.
There is no visual damage for Stig. I think he's clipping something. He went into AI for a bit. But yeah, he completely missed his breakpoint and ran into the back of Ichigo and getting a 3-second time penalty. So, a bit of pain there.
Yeah, I was wondering why Ichigo just jolted forward. It just because I saw him brake at like the right point, and then I thought he was like, did he let off the brakes or something? But no, he just got rammed in the back.
Ron at 1.2, he's gained back the time he's lost under that VSC. He just needs to get within DRS range here. Because he needs it.
Yeah, if he gets in DRS, he can have to save DRS, and it's basically a one-lap undercut after lap like 8 or so, and you'll make up massive amounts of time if you don't get traffic.
Oh, that's Bud Buddy off turn 3! No front wing for the Williams driver! That is Stig off his wheel!
Stig right next to him. He's parked right next to him.
So that's 2 additions to the
More.
turn 3 victim list.
I think we need like a Bailey. I think you need to make a turn 3 counter.
Nah, I can't make that right now.
Yeah, it's gonna be done. No, that is for sure. If it ain't gonna be Bailey, it's gonna be one of the Twitch viewers. Yep. As Kieran's looking for a move on Solar, both on the medium compounded tire, but with that, oh, Kieran, what a drift! He gained time on Solar doing that. That's apparently how you gain time in this game, folks. But here you go around the outside, seeing something very reminiscent of what Mumu did in the realistic tier with the elite defense on Deer last night in the realistic tier. And then AlphaTauri going up in Mercedes. Once again, I gotta give him a round of applause. And everybody give him a round of applause for that elite defense.
Yeah.
Good job, Mumu.
Yeah. But back to tier 3. Solar holding off Kieran Evans. But coming across the line now, Gary is actually starting to pull away from Ron, so that will. But if he keeps pulling away from Ron, we have to bring up the question of, did Ron burn up the stuff here? Oh, you want to save? I about saw Gary just about spin off at turn 3. Had to basically lock the car down, but that's going to help Ron get right back into this. Which means that Gary probably has overheated tires.
He missed DRS by a tenth there, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And Ardell
so
said fastest lap.
Turn 3. It's starting to rack up. I don't know what the counter is. I already forgot. But if someone could keep track of that, that'd be nice.
Gotcha.
Yep, but going through this little chicane part, Ron is barely out of DRS once again. Is he in it? Yes, he is. He's in it.
Kieran up into P6.
Yeah, they're both on no ERS because they're both just trying to get in DRS and Gary trying to keep them out.
But with that costly mistake at turn 3, it's basically everybody having mistakes at turn 3. But especially for Gary, with how it stands, if Gary has a moment like that again and even crashes out because of it, guess who's sitting pretty? Ron is.
Yep, I think this is around where the sauce will start falling off. Ron is really up there near Gary. Yeah, I think Ron's gonna start getting up there. Gary's in.
Oh,
Gary's
in.
Line.
Oh, did he? I wasn't able to catch that.
I'm pretty sure he did. That's what it looked like to me. But tier 3, that's reportable, I think. I'll have to look back, but I'm pretty sure he crossed the finish line. But it's little things like that that can cost you everything.
Yes, it is. With that in mind, if Ron actually believes that, and if he clips it, that could be reportable. And if it's deemed that he crossed the white line, I would have to assume that would be a 5-second time penalty. So Ron, if he actually did see that and clips it and is planning to send it to stewards, he needs just to stay within 5 seconds.
Yeah. Well, Gary's actually get a little bit of traffic here with Stig, but it might just help him with DRS if he's able to pass him on the straight. But I'm assuming if Gary has a decent outlap, he'll be easily passed and out of DRS or wrong. I don't think that's very powerful, as we've seen with Ardell, because he's only 2.9 behind.
Kieran, back up into P5 past Solar. I think these guys are going to start trading again, like we saw last week. But they haven't really been pulling away from Titan.
Yep, but here comes Solar.
Yeah. Big easily got passed by Gary, but Gary has no ERS, he's going to be flashing. But he really wants his undercut.
Yeah, we have to keep an eye on Ron. Let's see if he will pit this lap to cover the undercut.
Honestly, it wouldn't, because I honestly do not trust the mediums going that long, especially on pace fall off.
Yeah,
Because pace fall off is easily around 2 seconds here.
if he's in. I think these medium guys are gonna start building up the pace, and they're gonna go straight to the end, as they should, as it is a one stop.
Yeah, I think the big gainer and showing how good the undercut is Ardell. He's really good.
Kieran's off.
Kieran Evers is around!
Oh
He's in the wall! How was he not crashed out? This contact system is terrible. Another VSC.
VSC. If that stays out long enough, Ron could gain massively from this.
He's in the long straight now in Sector 2.
And
we have seen
another
VSC's last like an entire lap.
How many victims is that now? That's another one.
I saw that on stream. I don't know how Kieran's alive.
Yeah, he ate it. Gee.
But the thing that meter riders are praying for is not a full safety car, or they will lose massively, having to most likely pit.
Well, we are getting closer and closer to the pit lane. If the VSC doesn't end by the time Ron gets there, that is gonna play beautifully in Ron's favor here.
Even if he gains just a little bit of time if it stays out, he can definitely gain that time back. And he'll have one lap first retired as well, which does help, obviously. We'll go Ron.
And he's
coming
in.
Ooh.
He's going very slowly. You don't
Silencer! Silencer! I caught that! Oh, nice voice crack, by the way. I caught that.
And VSC is not ending, so yeah. If this is until he, okay, no.
Oh,
Nice. Nice. It didn't even say ending. Nice. But yeah, I think Ron will gain a little bit from that, so.
That's trying to get to Ron.
Oh, he's coming out of the pit lane now. Gary is ahead. It's gonna be close, though.
Yeah, I don't know about close there.
Oh, yeah.
But he did definitely save a little bit of time with that. But yeah, the undercut is very powerful.
Even with the virtual safety car, it's pretty huge.
Yeah, Ardell almost in DRS, but he has 4 lap older tires. It will hurt him a lot at the end. Goofy almost in DRS as well with 75% ERS, so he could definitely get in DRS with Ardell and be well within touching this into the podium.
Well, Ron already closing that gap tremendously. I wonder if he has more medium pace compared to Gary here, but you never know. We haven't even Ron hasn't even completed his first lap yet.
Silencer on Goofy.
You gotta wait and see.
Wow, that was very very close to a crash there. Silencer peeked in his nose into Goofy. Luckily, that was not a crash. Obviously, last night we saw, something similar happen.
Hi. But yeah, I think the reason that Ron's closing is because he has so much more ERS than Gary. Because Gary has used, on his outlap there, on his mediums, he used absolutely everything to try and build that gap, which is why I think the undercut was more powerful than
Purple, sector 3 for Ron. He is definitely pushing this. Titan is in. He's gonna go onto mediums and most likely go to the end.
Unless it's a light safety car.
Obviously.
But yeah, Ron has like a 70% or 60% ERS advantage, so if he uses this right, he can definitely get into DRS with Gary here.
Well, Gary is already flashing. So, Ron, yep, he's already pushing. He's already at the 2.5 second threshold. So if he does definitely use his cards right, he will definitely get in DRS range. Silencer gets back ahead of Goofy for P6.
Yeah, and Silencer has 5 lap pressure mediums and Goofy.
Silencer might get Ardell here too. Ardell is flashing, no ERS, and Silencer up into P5. Good stuff from Silencer.
I think that's a net P. Yeah, that's a net P3 right now, with the 2 All-Star owners of Ichigo and Soul are still staying out, which they go for probably another 7 to 10 laps. Yellow flag.
That is
Flag.
Rage again.
Turn 3.
Yeah.
Yep.
Does he have a front
another
lane?
tick, please.
He does have a front lane. So there won't be a VSC.
Yeah, I think he just won. Well, that's another victim. Oh wow, he almost spun again.
Overheated tires.
We love those.
On God. But yeah, Gary is really using his ERS here that he doesn't really have to maintain that gap. And Ron is still on 70% ERS, and Gary will be flashing down the straight. And he's closing into Solar. He's not close enough for DRS though. But he might just get held up here by Solar if Solar decides to play the defensive game.
No, and Ron is already using his battery down the straight. He definitely does know that he needs to push already down under the 2 second threshold. I definitely do believe that Ron has more medium pace compared to Gary, and Gary already starting to feel effects of dirty air from Solar, so he definitely needs to get within that DRS range and get around him as quick as he can. Is Whiffy? Oh,
A lot of contact.
Oh, what? On my... Okay, what a save from Whiffy. I thought he was about to spin there, but here comes Goofy using his battery on Ardell. Ardell's flashing. He won't use anything. Goofy electing to go around the outside. Ardell is pinching him, going in the corner. Ardell very early in the brakes. No room be given to the Aston Martin driver. As contact once again is Ardell just holding him off as Gary...
Oh, Ardell's an AI. It's an AI projective.
Interesting.
Well, Gary. Well, I have no clue what happened, but y'all covered it. But Gary is within 4/10 of Solar, so the dirty air is definitely kicking in from the Mercedes driver. So Ron is definitely going to start using the battery here.
Still has that advantage.
By quite a bit too. But so far, with all the overtakes, there has been quite a bit of contact.
Yeah, it's very tough to make overtakes without making contact, because most of the corners, they're very, they tighten up. It's kind of like Kodat sometimes, where it's very deceiving. Corners are very wide and it just tightens up with what are these two doing?
Solar ran very wide at the exit, and Gary's up into P2.
And Gary did get the DRS as well, so...
But Ron didn't.
That's pretty big, but he'll get it into the second straight.
Solar. He might be able to clear the Solar, but Solar has a lot of ERS, so he could definitely keep the position.
Ron is not gonna like that if Solar fights him.
Yeah.
Well, Solar does have DRS, so that will benefit Gary.
Yeah, Ron's going for it.
Ron's slowly closing in as he's going to make a dive for it.
wow.
What a dive as Solar lets him through.
And Ron is crucially within the 1 second, but they both have basically the same ERS. Ron slightly more, but... Yeah, that undercut from Gary, it's only 1 lap, or no, it's 2 laps. Yeah, 2 lap pressure tires.
Nope, another fight here. Titan got up into P9, I think, getting past Stig. Kind of missed that.
Yeah, the triple chicane just seems to be a favorable overtaking spot. I think Rage spun at turn 3 again.
Yep, and while that happened, Potato got up into P13 past Kieran.
But something to talk about. Ron is right there. As
As Rage
Rage
is out.
that is a retirement on track.
What do you say?
And that's
Oh,
a big
BSC.
C.
Did he crash out?
Oh, and Ichigo's
No,
back
he
there.
retired on track.
Oh. That's... okay.
Wait, what?
He retired at the... how the IRL line is, so you can straight line the chicane. Retired there.
He doesn't have a tire on. I think he crashed.
Well, I saw like
Why
his
he
car
crashed
just slowly move over. Well.
Oh, it's gone. We can't see. We will never know.
Yeah.
How do you
Well.
crash? How'd you crash there? I don't know. He spun and then I don't know how he hit the wall. Maybe he just slammed the car. Oh.
Possibly.
Ichigo could play a crucial part in this race.
So far, it looks like alt strat is not a good choice.
But the field being very close, yeah.
Yeah. Something to take into note with the next 3-tier races.
I don't know how long the
Yes,
pit
it
lane is,
will.
but I think Ichigo will come out around P10.
Yeah, that's a pretty ways back.
Yeah.
This is a long VSC.
Again.
Oh,
Oh,
and Titan
that
as
is
well.
Titan. Just like 2 seasons ago, Titan was actually gonna win the Grand Prix. He actually got a drive-through, which involved Mitchie. As I promised Mitchie, I'd bring this up. Mitchie, he was gonna win the race until I said hello and passed by him. I wish that string was uploaded to YouTube. But Gary is right all over the rear gearbox of the DX Ichigo. I wonder if DXT will play the defense here. You never know, or will he let Gary through? But here we go. We're about to
He's
find
going
out.
defensive.
DXT going defensive, but Gary will get the DRS. But here comes Ron all over Gary. It's going to be down to whoever gets the best exit.
Oh,
That is
Kieran.
Kieran retired.
oh,
Yeah, will that be a safety car?
If that is, then
it's taking way too long.
It won't be a safety car, but here comes Gary on DXT. Potato 3-second top penalty. Safety car!
Oh, wow.
That was super late.
We've been
And that
pranked.
allowed Gary to
got
get
pranked.
ahead of DXD.
But this helps
Definition
Ichigo
of
out a lot.
lucky if I've ever seen one.
Yeah. So will we see Ichigo go on sauce probably? I assume so.
Softs can make it, right?
They
Yeah.
can.
He'll just be dead.
Strategy is
Yeah.
on.
But yeah. So Ichigo will not come out in P10, I don't think, because we might see some people at the back. Like, I would assume Ardell and Goofy will pit because they have very old tires.
Considering how realistic went, there's safety car coming around now for Deer to go for softs, but during that period there were 2 safety cars in between that. And by the time the last safety car restart came through, Deer Hunter's tires were dead and weren't able to gain on Sanchez. So I wouldn't take the risk, but we're going to wait and see.
Gary's in.
Oh, they're all coming in. That is interesting. Silencer
geez.
stays out. Here comes Solar.
He kind of has to because his teammate's pitting.
I think Solar may have crossed
Whiffy
the line.
stays out.
We're just being stitches on everyone. And Ichigo doesn't sauce. And they're all
Medium
playing near medium.
survive.
Well, that
And
is
save with
the
Gary.
safer part. That is a safer strategy. But yeah, there's some people at the back of the field, not back of the field, but like midfield, Goofy, going for softs to, I guess, get the track position early on. Because he has nothing to lose, really, so. Everyone's pitting, that's interesting. I don't think I've seen every person pit. So look at that, Ichigo on new softs and net P4.
Goofy
But
as
here
well.
is something.
Yeah, this is gonna
Yes.
be pretty big for them. They can probably get their way up there in the early parts of the racing before the tires die. So we'll have to look out for that.
Well, something to think about here. We already saw how DXT would race against Gary going defensive like that. What about Whiffy? What about Silencer? Whiffy is in the Constructors battle as well in the Ferrari. I wonder if he will play rear gunner for Ron as well. DXT on the alternate strategy on softs, he's gonna have the pace advantage. He's probably gonna get around these guys, but the question is, what will Silencer do? Will he decide to do what he prefers, or will he help out his teammate DXT, or even their sister team of Ferrari?
Yeah, if you go to a very good position here with Whiffy and Silencer on very, well, not old, but older mediums than everyone else. So Ichigo will have, like, over Whiffy and Silencer, like a 1.5% tire advantage. Or 1.5 second, yeah. And Solar's in. I don't know why he didn't pit up before that.
Actually, the reason why is because he went on medium, so to satisfy that rule, he's gonna have to go on softs.
Yeah, so that adds another person onto the softs. We're gonna have to look out for him too. Maybe he will be able to carve his way through the field and up into the top 5.
What I'm assuming happened is he didn't mean to pit on mediums, because I don't think he'd want to go medium. That just doesn't make sense.
The game can bug and put you on a tire that you don't want to be on.
Yeah, I've seen that as well.
Happened to the bald guy twice in Tier 4. Should ask him about it.
I saw it on Twitter where they selected hard tires and it put them on mediums again and they started on mediums, so it races. Someone screwed there.
Quite unfortunate.
Joe Shiesty. A very long safety car with everyone pitting, not on the lap the safety car came out.
We should be going in this lap. Bad Bunny is right here.
Yeah, there could be big swings in the Constructors' Championship, seeing as so far it seems like Alfa Romeo and Ferrari have been working together, seeing as they're the ones down on the in the Constructors, so it makes sense for them to somewhat work together. With Gary only not having his teammate. Hamilton, I see you in chat. Why are you not in the race? Yeah, safety car's in.
Yep. As it stands now, Alfa Romeo will gain 25 plus 12. That would be 37. Subtract Gary's 15. You would get 19.
22.
So,
Wait, man.
oh,
37
22.
and 15 is 22.
Oh, yeah.
I think, or am I stupid?
No,
Yeah, it's
25 add 17. No, 25 add 12. That's 37.
Minus 15 because Gary's future.
Yep. But can't talk about that now. We're literally about to go. As Silencer will go through turn 21, the safety car. It's gonna be green flag, and now that will let Silencer go. Catches out Whiffy, but it's gonna be all eyes on Gary and Ron to see what they can do. And Gary has a little safe space between himself and Ron. I literally forgot the word, but a buffer. There you go, found it. Buffer between himself and Ron, and here comes Ardell making a move on Ron. This is gonna be crucial. As Ardell actually backs out of it. But let's see what DXT does. He makes a little dive on Gary. Gary anticipates the move, gives him space, but that allows him to get a better exit on DXT though. But with the sauce, he doesn't even get that much of a better exit. Whiffy going defensive on Gary. I think that's going to show his stance on where he believes what he should do. But going through the fast chicane now, as I believe, the game's glitched for me.
Whiffy,
but Gary is.
If you go make contact, Whiffy, I don't know, he just wasn't in front of him. So that kind of just lets Gary through. But Silencer with a 1.2 second lead already. But he does have a lot older tires, which will kick in at the end of this race. So yeah, Gary will definitely close that gap down.
As Ron is trying to make a move on DXT, it just will not be enough. This is just helping Gary. As it stands anyway, that will be championship over.
Potato has spawned.
For the time being, as
Ardell's
Potato
well.
has spawned, like you said. And actually, Ardell, yeah, that will be something interesting. But DXC trying to make a move on Whippy here
He really
to
needs
get
to
up
clear
to
Whippy.
Gary.
Whippy not giving up, but yeah, this is just costing both of them time, because yeah, Gary's already broken that 1 second window. Ichigo just needs to get past and take advantage of these softs. But Whippy's going very, very slow. This is just costing them time.
Here comes Ron on DXD. DXD late on the brakes. So DXD's not helping anybody this race, but this is just ultimately helping out Gary here. Already 1.7 ahead of these guys.
Yeah, Ichigo, I think, is signaling Whiffy to move over because he is costing them a lot of time to Gary. But yeah, I think Silencer has to put on a bit of a master class defense for these guys to catch back up.
Yep.
And Whippy's not giving up. He's using absolutely everything. And I think Ichigo just has to force his way through. And
Wow.
Oh, very
Yep,
deep on the brakes. Alfa Romeo goes. He misses the corner. That allows Ron to get Whippy.
Oh.
That is a half spin, and he's able to save it. But that is one less car. Ron will have to pass to catch back up to Gary. But Gary within DRS range of Silencer. I wonder what DXT is going to do with Ron. Will he let Ron through? Or will Ron just stay behind DXT for time being? Because if I'm Ron, I need to go as quick as I can.
Yeah, a bit of teamwork has to go on between two Alfa Romeos to help out Ron. Silencer has to put on a bit of a defense class, and then Ichigo has to carry Ron to Gary, or they flip-flop and then they trade. But yeah, they have to put in a bit of work to get up to Gary.
yeah, Ichigo definitely has the pace advantage at the moment with these only 2 level softs, because yeah, he's got the gap to 810, so yeah, he's closing down a lot on Gary. So yeah, he's got to use these tires very early on to get in DRS and overtake Gary. Well, he can, and has a tire advantage. As Gary's lost the DRS of Silencer.
That will be crucial, but Ron's about to lose the DRS of DXT Ichigo. As Potatoes retired in the pit lane, that will not interfere with safety cars or anything like that. As Ron is in DRS of DXT Ichigo, that will play huge towards Ron's races. That will allow him to be carried with DXT to catch up to Gary.
As
Gary's already
Gary didn't
blinking.
get DRS. Yeah, he's blinking and he didn't even get the DRS. He'll get it on this street, but yeah. Silencer managing his ear as well, even on these much older tires, as someone's around. Or, no, it's just battling.
Yeah.
3-way battle for P5 at the moment. Stig got the better exit, but Solar has the DRS and the ERS advantage, but he doesn't have to use it because he has the DRS advantage. And Stig backs off.
Yes, he does. But DXC is starting to lose time due to the fact that Gary has DRS, so DXC needs to start using the tire advantage now to even catch up to Gary here, because once Gary starts closing in on Silencer a lot more, I think it will be game over. But like you said, with the accusation that Gary has, as DXC misses the penultimate corner, as that is a yellow flag, that is Goofy around. Back to the Gary accusation of, oh, that's probably for damage. Unfortunate for his race, but the accusations are true, and that's a penalty for Gary due to the pit lane. That will put Ron back ahead for the time being. But Gary being in Silencer's DRS is not helping him out whatsoever.
He went a little wide and almost lost the DRS. There's like half a tenth. He went a little wide. He's got to stop doing that to stay in DRS because, yeah, he's almost going to be flashing. As Ichigo's got that gap down to 1.7, but it was 1.5, but the DRS is so powerful down these 2 straights with obviously the big top speed advantage. He will make up a lot in Sector 3. Solar and Stig going side by side. Again, these 2 are still battling.
Ron is just using this DRS to his advantage, but so is Gary. But back to the accusation, but if it's true, 5 seconds, DXT, Ron, and not Solar. I mean, not Solar, Stig. Actually, not even Solar as well. I think Gary would be put down into P4, but Ron would only gain 3 points. That is not what he needs.
Wow, Ichigo almost spun it there. Got on the curb. He's pushing this.
Well, all Silencer can do as a teammate is try and back up Gary in Sector 3, I guess, to get Ichigo in DRS.
I mean, that's what he's doing. The gap's at 1.4.
Gary and Ichigo are both pushing this quite hard. I almost saw, or Gary almost bent it as well, getting on the curb before the final corner.
Yeah, Ichigo's only 3/10 behind, 1/10 now, but he went a little bit wide there. He definitely could have gotten it there, but yeah, he's gonna lose a lot of time down the straight now.
Well, if Silencer is able to hold up Gary for the right amount of time against DXD and DRS here, I wonder how aggressive DXD will be towards Gary, as Ron very deep on the brakes. He's definitely pushing the envelope, and Silencer gets a snap above his steer. That is not what he needs, and that will allow Gary just to fly past him, as both of them do not have much ERS to use at their disposal. So Gary, with the tire advantage, and also no longer with the dirty air, he's just gonna fly past these guys here, or just pull away.
Wow. That is a lot of contact between Michi and Stick, as we're almost going 3 wide. Oh, that's something off. Who's that?
Oh, that's Titan.
Didn't catch that, fortunately.
Oh, someone's
Oh
around.
my god,
It's
Michi. Michi has spun. No.
Well, Silencer is starting to build up his DRS once again to maybe stay within that DRS and start using his battery and just dump it all to try and get ahead of Gary once again. But DXT is barely out of DRS right now. He needs to get within DRS now.
The top
He's
4
almost there.
barely have any RS. Wow.
Yeah, they're all using everything. As Ron actually has the most.
Michi going deep.
Ooh,
He's
that's
doing that.
lag.
He's doing that into the hairpin a lot.
As this will play crucial. Now that will be a run up in the third. And as it stands, if Gary once again does get that 5-second time penalty with the pit lane, that will put. As Silencer misses a corner, he's definitely using all of his stuff here. As Ron is actually at 5 ERS.
They're all on nothing. They're not saving anything. They're not managing at all.
They're completely dumping everything, pushing it.
Gary's like sliding around at every corner exit. The medium traction control kicking in. Yeah, Ichigo's tire
know
stuff
what
is going
assists
off.
they're using.
How do I know what assist they're using? Well, I see Gary like full throttle, like mid-apex.
It's pretty obvious to see if someone's using assists or not, though.
True.
Yeah, and
Well-
Paul, I literally see him like full throttle, like in the middle of the corner, and not like he just like half spins every corner.
Ron 3/10 out of DRS4. No, actually, never mind. It's 2 now. He's getting very, very close here as DXT's tires are starting to fall off
Yeah.
due to him losing a huge amount of time there through Sector 3. As Silencer, once again, very, very deep on the brakes. He is using everything that he's got at his disposal to get around Gary here.
Yeah, both Alfa Romeos went very, very deep last lap, and I think Silencer is starting to push the braking points to catch up a bit to Gary, even though they both got no ERS.
Yeah, and Ron's on 0%. Unfortunate thing though is that Ron gets within like a 10th of DRS every time, but then loses like 7/10 down the straight.
Yeah, that's very unfortunate. But Silencer,
Go for it.
is he going to be close enough to peak for a move? Yes, he is. They're going to go will to will here. Will there be any contact? No, there's not, as Gary will stay ahead. And that's actually a Silencer 3 seconds.
That's gonna
That
be
is
big.
crucial as Ron's in the DRS. Same with DXT. We have a 4-man fight right now for this Grand Prix victory.
This is gonna go down to the wire with these 4. Still, all of them basically have no battery. And now with Silencer
Oh.
and his penalty, he's gonna drop down quite a bit.
Yeah, he almost put himself into the wall there. I don't know what turn that is, but it's in sector 3. It's just one before the penultimate corner. I don't know what turn that is. He almost put it in the wall. Yeah, that's crucial. Ron being in DRS. Silencer goes wide.
Silencer. Wide once again.
Yeah, they're... Silencer can't lose DRS here. The win's for Gary, basically. None of them have DRS here, so they're not really at a big advantage, because they're on basically under 10%.
Only pace advantage they have is DRS.
Yeah, and if Silencer drops out, and Ron makes a move, and they tangle a little bit, then yeah, Ron's basically... Or not Ron, Gary's won.
Yeah, wow. Oh, the top 3 were blinking on that straight. They have nothing. Gee.
Oh, Silencer goes on 2 wheels. That
Oh.
is contact with the wall
He
as
gets that
well.
curve there.
But Silencer is using up his stuff. That is not what they need here.
Do not
They
Let's
can't
see
battle.
if Silencer will fight it. Yes, he
do not
does.
battle.
Okay, yeah.
As Ron is able to get through, and there you go. If there's a perfect way to end this race, I think there's no question about it. This is the best way to end it.
It's game on. Between
Ron
these
needs to
two.
start saving here. Oh, Gary goes wide. He
Gary's
might have
misses
gotten
the
a warning
corner.
there. He didn't get a warning for that. That's surprising. It looked like he went off track a little bit.
This
Oh, and
is
Silencer
gonna
lost
be-
the DRS.
This is gonna be very, very close. Oh, obviously, again, all of them with basically no battery. Ichigo. Oh, Silencer's pitting, is he? Oh
No,
that's
he-
why.
he-
They swapped. They swapped.
Yeah, Ronnie's with these couple laps that he has.
Oh!
Yeah, Ron needs to save up his ERS here so he can actually go for it. Because if they're just flashing, no one's gonna be able to overtake.
Ooh.
Titans into the pits. Guess going for fastest lap. I don't know. Oh, yellow flag.
No, that's
Who died?
DXD out. That's DXD.
Oh.
Another victim.
So that's heavy for constructors at the moment.
It's
I
basically
think-
down to these two, the championship leaders, Ron and Gary. They're gonna fight it out.
Yep. They're both blinking, honestly. You know what this reminds me of? This is the same exact way I won this Grand Prix in Tier 4. I would advise Ron, I would not pass him on the long straight. I would pass him on this straight because Mickey was able to get him back. But here we go. Very reminiscent of how 2021 ended in real life. Here comes Gary. Will he go defensive? Ron at no battery at all. Literally blinking at 0. But Gary definitely has the battery advantage. But Ron needs to go. He needs to use his advantage now because Gary definitely sliding everywhere. It's hurting his tires. It's hurting. They're screaming for help right now. They're probably overheated. They are mad at Gary. Look at the way he's driving his car. He is losing a tremendous amount of time. If Ron is able to pull Gary out of this DRS, I think that could be Grand Prix over.
He's bringing it back at the penultimate corner, but oh, he lost even more time last corner. Yeah, Ron's giving it everything. I was gonna say he should have stayed behind to save DRS, but if he thinks he has a pace advantage to break DRS, then that's obviously the better thing to do. And yeah, so far Gary's lost it, but he might gain it back down the straight.
Yes, he's going full throttle. Oh my lord, it worked out beautiful for him here. 2 laps left.
This
Yeah.
is really gonna go down to the wire.
Yeah, Gary was very committed to that corner to stay in DRS, and it worked. He gained about 3/10 through there, so.
Here we go between the 2 championship protagonists. If you're thinking of leaving now, I would recommend not to because it is going down to the last lap. Very reminiscent of Jetta of realistic last week, as well as Gary is sliding through the corner. He is definitely losing traction. And Ron has a lot more tire life in it, and Gary is just abusing it all because if you remember, this championship can end right now.
Ichigo might have damage. He's dropping a lot of positions here. Or maybe it's just his tires are gone, but...
Oh, a bit further back. Bad Bunny. Oh, he hops the curb. Solar retains his position. Wow. That was, oh, whoa.
Solar lets him through. Okay.
Ichigo, too.
Ichigo gets through.
Wow.
Yeah.
Uh-oh, this does not look good.
And Ron's extending the gap to 8/10, but you can definitely get that down the straight. If it's around 8/10, you can definitely pass. Oh, 9/10 now, so will Gary take the risk through the turn 3 again? Or will Ron also take the risk as well?
If I'm Ron here, I wouldn't take the risk.
Yeah, he's lifting.
But here we go. On through here for
lifting
the
a
final
lot.
time. And
Yeah,
Gary
he
is
just lost
using
4 tenths.
everything.
Gary lifted a bit too, but he still gained quite a bit on Ron.
Yeah, Ron went like half throttle.
Here we go.
But here we go.
Here we go.
Gary is using everything, man. He is using all the battery. He's going to be at 15. They're going to be equal. If here we go. We're in the long straight here. I do not think Gary will gain enough time, but he definitely will on the second DRS straight. But we're done with the long DRS straight for this Grand Prix. Now going through the second DRS straight. Gary very, very early on the brakes to get a good run off the exit. Ron a little bit squirrely, but here we go. They're both dumping their battery, but here we go. Very reminiscent of what we saw last year in the championship as well. Here comes Gary on the outside. Will Ron give up the space? Very deep on the brakes goes Ron. He barely
he
makes
kept
the
it
corner.
through.
Gary looking for a switch back here.
Wow.
As Ron's able to hold it off. If Ron does not get a time penalty here, the championship will live on to the very last race here at Imola. The way as it stands, the gap will be 13 points. No, not 13. I do not know. I'm going to have to do the math later. I can't bother. But now going through the very fast few quarters for the final time. Last week, we didn't see much of Ron's pace, but he's rebounded this week. Going to the final quarter, no lunge has been made from Gary. It will be Ferrari's day. Ron crosses the line to win the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix with Gary P2, and the championship fight lives on to the last race.
What a Grand Prix that was. Some pretty good battling there. Bad Bunny up into P4.
Our
Wow.
the 20-second penalty. He might have done what we did and left the long.
Elite.
Oh. Maybe a bit of desync there. That's gonna have to be investigated. That
And
20
constructors
places.
wise, Mercedes lost to Ferrari and actually what's the team called? Alfa Romeo. That's the name. They actually lost to
Yes.
Alfa Romeo. So
Goofy.
Ferrari gained 7 points and Alfa Romeo gained about 5, I think.
Well, that ends Red Bull's constructors' hopes, though.
Whew. Solar driver of the day. Pretty good stuff.
Wow, what a race.
Yeah, both championships are gonna be going down to the wire. 3-way fight for constructors. It's only like, I don't know, like 22 points between them or something like that. I don't know. And then drivers championship, 15 points.
Whew. That was
Well-
fantastic.
Yep. So, 25 for Ron, 18 for Gary. That would be 7. 23 minus 7 is your gap. That would be 16 points.
23.
So-
Yeah.
Ron needs to finish second or above with Gary DNFing to win this championship.
Yeah.
Basically a must win.
Yep.
If Ron wins, Ron needs Gary to finish P5 or below, I think. I don't know who has more wins. Gary has more wins, so yeah. He needs win in fastest lap and Gary to be P5, or win and Gary to be P6 to win.
Yep. That is Silencer's first ever podium, by the way.
Is it? I thought he
Wait.
got podium. No, he got P2 in
Oh,
Australia.
yeah, you're right. I have dementia, so don't worry about it. Dang, Gary.
What's up, guys?
What's up? There you go.
Well,
Hello. Well, when are we gonna start interviews?
We can start right now.
Alright, there you go. Mumu, take us away with Alfa Romeo driver Silencer finishing P3.
So, Silencer, you were... I don't know where you were in that race, really, but yeah, the safety car definitely helped you because you decided to stay out and get that track position. Which,
yeah.
let's talk me
So,
through.
I think I was like P5 before the safety car. Then I figured my tires would 100% make it to the end. So I just stayed out, took track position. I've never had my tires drop off that aggressively. Like, I finished 10 seconds behind them. They were just shot at the end, but I still think I made the right decision.
Well, clearly, if you finished P3, yeah. That late penalty,
Yeah.
you thought it was going to cost you, but in the end it didn't because your
Yeah.
teammate decided to have a little spin.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, otherwise, congratulations on your second podium, which will
Thank
help
you.
out in the constructors. Anyone else have any other questions? Zach, Bailey?
Nope.
No, I do not. Congratulations, Silencer on P3, helping out Alfa Romeo in the constructor standings. With that, by the way, fun fact, you have eliminated Red Bull, so there you go. 3 teams to celebrate.
GG's.
Yeah. There's that. But Bailey, take us away with Gary P2 in the Mercedes.
Yep. So Gary, that was pretty close. Pretty decent race from you, even though you didn't get the win. But yeah, talk us through your race.
Yeah, like I say, it was a steady one. Obviously, Ron was pushing hard, kept closing the gap. I kept using my ERS to try and burn him, but he was just always there. So I thought we might play the overtaking game on the last couple of laps. I thought obviously I went for it on the chicane, or going around the outside, but I wanted to keep the front end of my car, so obviously I backed off.
Yep.
So yeah.
So this fight, the championship fight, continues on to next week at Imola. How are you feeling about Imola?
Yeah. Looking forward to it. Yeah. I can't wait. Bring it on.
Alrighty, that's Gary.
Yeah, GG's
P2.
Ron.
Yep.
GG's Ron.
Yeah. Good game.
Take it over, Zach.
Oh, yes,
Well,
it's
we move-
Zach.
Shut up, Ron. But moving on to our Alpha Ferrari.
Mm.
I give up. But our Ferrari driver, Ron, your championship hopes are still alive. By the way, I did the math for you.
Yes, I was keenly
So-
aware at the time.
I did the math for you. I already forgot the math. Wait, it was 16 points. There we go. I thought of it, but 16 points going in the Imola between yourself and Gary. And what are your thoughts about the championship? And overall, give us your thoughts about that race, considering that you had more medium pace than Gary, but Gary had you on the soft pace.
It was a nice race. I haven't had a race like that since like Portugal, where I just felt good, didn't have any problems. I felt pretty confident everywhere besides for that turn 3. I couldn't really full throttle it through there without feeling like the car was about to go. But yeah, I knew what I had to do. I knew I had to either win or just like be behind Gary as long as he didn't win. But finishing second to him, I knew wasn't gonna work it. And so, I mean, going in that final corner of the DRS zone, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna just go for it because I need it.
if he won, it was over. So at least I get some sort of a chance. But then I hate Imola as well, so there's that. But hey, it was fun battling him. That was probably the most aggressive I've been all season, and it
Yeah,
was pretty
GG's,
fun.
mate.
I actually had some pace. I was actually like furious with that safety car. We had all those other times where we had like a virtual where it was more egregious. Then Kieran died somewhere, and the safety car comes out as soon as you passed him, Gary. As soon as you passed him. I was like, dang it. But yeah, it was very fun. Do you have a question for me, Zach?
I asked you all my questions.
Okay, Bailey, Mumu.
How do you feel about Constructors Championship?
I don't know. What are they? I think.
I think
I-
I'm not doing the math right now.
Your teammate got no points. Your teammate was out of the points, right?
No, he got
Nope.
ninth, I thought.
No, we got
Because
nine.
Ardell luckily decided he wanted to go cut the final corner and give himself a 20-second penalty, which was a little interesting.
So 27 is between. No, it's 20.
DXD said he ran out of gas and he cut the corner trying to stay side by side.
So if you got 27 points and Mercedes got 18, it's a 9-point swing. So that means it is.
Well, you got to think of Alfa Romeo, who got P3 and P6.
You scored more points. You scored 4 more points.
I don't have the math in my head right now. Okay.
I think it's a 50. It's like a 15-point gap between you and Mercedes, and Alfa Romeo. I think are like.
Alfa Romeo's at 363, I think.
Yeah, they're like 15 points behind or something, or 12 points. I don't know.
If we find a way to somehow win, that'd be nice. I think Constructors is a big chance. I mean, Whiffy was doing really well until, like I remember I was.
You almost took your teammate out, Ron.
It wasn't really my fault, to be honest. I told him, I told Biwo, you know Biwo, I told him, hey, message Whiffy, tell him to be Perez for me. And he was Perez for me, just not to the right person.
Yeah,
I wanted him to do it to Gary, and he did it to me and DXD. But it was, I mean, he put on a hell of a performance, though. But then sadly he almost died, and then I believe he ended up pitting. I think his tires were just that bad, apparently. I don't know what was with everyone, but 6 laps in, I know the tires die out, but everyone's tires were dying out, and mine didn't feel that different. That's why I was a little, like, Gary pitted so early. I was so surprised when he pitted. I was like, no, I'm going to go to lap 10, but then we had that virtual, and I was able to make it to the pits, and that just helped me a bit. But I was just so surprised how so many people's tires were just dying so quickly. I should have went for the softs. It may have been a better bet.
You won the race.
You what? Yeah, it doesn't
I
matter.
did.
You could have gone
right.
fastest lap though.
I forgot
so
about that.
You didn't get fastest lap though, so.
You're right. Now there's no way I can finish first and he finish. I don't know how the math works. I don't care. All I know is I know.
You need to
I know,
win, and he needs to be P6, or you need to win in fastest lap. I think.
Damn. That's Gary, you just wreck out for me, right?
If Gary crashes out, you have to be 3rd and higher.
Oh yeah, you're right. Huh.
But if you finish 3rd, you go to tiebreaker.
Yeah.
I don't even know who'd win that.
I think he does. I think he has more wins.
Yeah, it's 5. It's Gary has 6 wins. You have 5.
Oh well.
What if Ron wins and it's somehow a tie?
Him again. He has more second place finishes. Huh. I just need Ardell to do what Ardell normally does. He's been doing it to me more than anyone.
Ardell, if you're
he
listening
would.
to this, you need to do a classic.
Man stuck it on the podium last week. Don't knock
You
the
know how
guy.
many races? Like, come on, Ardell. You've done this since, like, what was the last race? USA? So can you do it to him again? Ever since Taco left, I've basically become the new Taco to him. Man, I remember Brazil, the man was racing me like a rabid dog, and then he spun himself out. But, I mean, he's a nice guy as well. I don't actually know. I gotta ask DXD. DXD's trying to pass him in the points. I don't know if he did that or not.
No, he's locked. He's like 30 behind entering.
Oh, that sucks. Well, it was fun. Any more questions? Bailey, do you have a question for me?
Nope, I do not.
You're actually kind of mean.
Hey, man.
Yeah, bro, don't be mean.
Alright,
Well-
enough shenanigans.
Yeah, I'm thinking about time we end this stream. The graphics, the sick edits will now end because Bailey is goated like that. I don't know if you're curious who made those I about said, yeah, but who made those edits? It was Bailey. So if you want to give Bailey a thanks for making such cool edits, then do that real quick. But anyway, back on track here. In 30 minutes, we have Tier 4. That was an exciting race with Tier 3. It'll be me and Minico. I don't like that guy. I'm just kidding, I'm kidding. But we'll see you there for Tier 4. Tier 4 will be very chaotic, but very fun at the same time. So I would tune into that stream, and we will see you then.
Bye.
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 Please pick up for my
Bye.
710.
Say bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye. Get out. Leave.